As a student athlete, life can be pretty demanding. Fortunately, I can always count on Fareway to help me refuel and bounce back. It's why this is right where I want to be. Fareway, your home court advantage.
Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Reaction Time presented by Fareway. Joined by, as always, by my co-host Ben Visser. I'm Jacqueline Cordova. Welcome to the Younger Bastida fan club. Get your younger shirts at the Cyclone Fanatic shop. This is going to be a fun one.
It will be the most fun, potentially.
Iowa State beat the Iowa Hawkeyes 20-14.
First time since 2004. 21 years in the making.
And you know what? What I've been telling everyone is this wasn't a close match. This wasn't, they got lucky. This wasn't anything like past close ones during Dresser's time. This was a dominant
They looked
win.
like the better team.
Yes, they were the better team.
Yep.
I feel 100% confident about that.
I agree.
How did you feel on Sunday?
I was a little bit flabbergasted.
Okay.
Because we talked on the podcast last week, and you asked me my prediction, and I said 18-13, I think is what I said. Iowa State was going to win 6. Iowa State was going to win 6. Iowa was going to win 4. They were going to get 1 bonus point. We'll talk about that match where I thought Iowa would get bonus points because that ended up not happening.
Yeah.
And so when Iowa State won 6 matches, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And you look at it a little bit closer. And you look at 149, Panero Johnson wrestles. We both expected Jacob Frost. He was out with an illness. Sounds like he would have gone for sure. And I like Jacob Frost in that matchup. So then you get a tick mark. That's number 7. You look at 125. That match could have gone either way. And if they wrestle again in March, we'll see what happens. That's another one that could have gone Iowa State's way. So you just look at those two. And then, 165, Connor Uden got manhandled. 184, Isaac Dean never really got close to getting a takedown, so sure, I'll give Angelo Ferrari that one, but we'll talk about that match too. Okay, sure. Iowa was for sure better at 2 weights. Iowa State was for sure better at 6 weights. I could make an argument for 7, and then 125, I think, is just the truest toss-up you've ever seen. So Iowa State, I have stats, and if we want to get into the stats right now, we sure can, but Iowa State was the better team. It looked like it. The stats say they were. The eye test, everything. Iowa State was better. And that, I think, I take so much, I'm going to say the word pride. I'm not on the team by any stretch of imagination. But as an Iowa State fan, a person who grew up following Iowa State athletics, I feel a lot of pride in the fact, this was not a lucky win.
Yeah.
This was Iowa State looked better. And I've seen Iowa fans on Twitter and things like that too, no, Iowa State was better. That was not close.
No, I agree. I get the pride thing, right? It's like we've been following this program and you've been following them even longer than I have. You just see the work that it's taken to get here, and it just feels like they walked into this one with all the right tools. And again, it wasn't luck. It was just truly these guys were just so much better in these head-to-head matchups. And I'm curious, take away your analytical brain, which I know is difficult. How did you feel just physically sitting through them? Because I can talk about mine. I always talk about how I'm very emotionally driven, but I'm curious how you felt just sitting there watching this unfold.
Yeah, so that's a super difficult question for me because I grew up in a very traditional media world to where I was trained to take my emotions out of it. So even just being on this podcast and saying that I'm proud of Iowa State is very weird for me. So to tell you how I feel, I felt excited. They are doing this thing. When MJ Gaitan, when he beat Patrick Kennedy, who was the one I thought would get a major decision, the one to get bonus points for Iowa, when he beat Patrick Kennedy, I'm like, holy cow, this is really going to happen. I cannot believe what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, what I'm just everything about it. And Aiden just pulled up a picture right now for those of you who aren't watching
Look at
it.
that crazy photo.
And it's just what he does on a mat is insane. It's unpredictable. In that moment, you're just high tension, just feeling it feels like you're feeling everything. You don't know if you're excited or scared or anything in between. Like, you were feeling all of the things. And then, yeah, you watch the Rocky Elam match, the one to cap it off. And we were doing the math up on press row, trying to figure out tiebreakers and who's going to win if this dual meet ends tied, if Rocky Elam somehow loses. And every indication was Iowa State, if Massima and Dean beat Rocky Elam by decision, Iowa State was still going to win based off criteria. So when we did that math and figured out that Iowa State was going to win pretty much regardless, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to happen. Like, this is unbelievable. I expected it to happen, right? Because I predicted Iowa State to win. But even in that moment, it was like, it happened. It really happened. Because I predicted Iowa State to win before, spoiler alert, and it has not happened. So for it to actually happen and for it to be real just felt like a different world.
I found myself doing the same exact thing I did when they won the conference. I completely blocked it out. Like, I refused to believe that Iowa State had locked in the Big 12 championship until Andy physically tweeted the graphic saying they were Big 12 champions. And it's, I don't know how to describe it or how I do it or why I do it, but I just did. I completely blocked it out and I refused until I texted you. And I said, Ben, tell me the scenarios right now if they do tie. Because, yeah, somehow it's like my body goes, it's just like, don't think about it. But no, it was really cool. And I want to talk about Dresser because that's how I watch duels, is by studying the people. It's a weird thing, and it was weird that I was on TV. People were texting me, telling me they could see me. I was like, I guess, in the perfect spot. And at one point, Jackson on our Cyclone Fanatic team texted me and said, why do you look so angry? I wasn't. I was truly just really focused on studying Vinny Zurban. Because I just have never seen him wrestle up close like that. So I was like very focused. So I watch by studying them. But like I said, I want to get into Dresser later. So yes, Iowa State did it. It was riveting. And it was great, like you said, to watch this unfold in the way that it did, with Iowa State being the better team, right? They win 6 matches, and the ones that they did lose, I don't even think I look at the ones they did lose and think, I don't even feel that awful about them, besides, of course, Pinheiro.
Yeah, Pinheiro, yes, but the rest of them's like, there's no panic there for any of the rest of them. Isaac Dean showed me a lot.
Yes.
I'm confident in Steve O'Poulin, and then I'm very confident in Jacob Frost. And Connor Uden, that was a bad matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, Michael Caliendo is just such a good wrestler. Like,
very high pace.
I did not expect Connor Uden to win that one.
I didn't either.
But
I think we both expected it to be close, and I think Caliendo probably heard that from not just us, but a few people, like, hey, this match was close last year, and he had a torn ACL. What's he going to do this year when he's healthy? And I'm sure Caliendo, being the incredibly good wrestler he is, took that and was like, I'm going to show you how good I am. And he did.
And, he had that ego ready when he won, because those were the only, good Iowa photos I got, was him celebrating on the mat when he won. And yes, Isaac Dean is one that I definitely doubted. I didn't give him enough credit.
I thought he'd get bonused. When I was sitting in Hilton, I was like, ooh, I think he's going to get bonused. On paper, I didn't have it that way. But when I was in there feeling in the moment, it's like, oh, I think Angelo's got him. And then when the ref said shake hands and go, Angelo didn't.
He was boring.
He did things. I don't want to say he didn't do anything. He did things. But I was underwhelmed. Yeah,
he was not the exciting wrestler I've been looking forward to. And I was very, very surprised by that. And I'm curious why that is. And I'm not going to take any credit away from Isaac Dean, because I think he wrestled a very good match.
His defense was incredible. There was a couple times I thought he was getting to get taken down. And he found a way to get both feet back on the mat and stay on. I was like, okay, you are showing me a lot of things right now.
Yes, and I think that was a really bright spot, is to see him in that moment, just because, Angelo's pretty good at, he's just very flexible.
Yes, he is.
So he's able to do things other guys aren't. So I'm excited to see Isaac Dean against other good opponents because, again, I think I just kind of overlooked him.
I did, for sure.
And I think a lot of that just comes from we don't know him. So it was exciting to see him step up in that match the way he did, again, despite it being a loss. But that's okay. Looking at this lineup, which match would you like to go? Which one stood out to you the most that you want to talk about?
Are we including MJ Gaitan in this?
We can talk about MJ.
Okay, then MJ Gaitan, without a doubt.
MJ Gaitan, I think, number one, I obviously was very excited to boast that I
You called
perfectly predicted that. And there is no amount of words of affirmation, any fan, Chris Williams, anybody could give me than to witness exactly what I felt in my gut was going to happen. And I think what's crazy is I expected Patrick Kennedy to give more.
He got gassed.
And he was so gassed. And you know what? This is a good match to start with because I want to talk about the brick toss.
Yeah.
A lot of people were very angry about it. Iowa fans were calling it cheating. And Dresser actually, of all the things you're going to say.
They're coping.
Dresser talked about it in his post-duel press conference. He said, from my angle, I couldn't see the locked hands. And what's funny is David Carr was losing his mind about it. And David actually ran over and said, he locked his hands, throw the brick. And like you could tell coach was kind of like listening and talking with the coaches, and then he tossed it. And Dresser said, he's like, well, I threw it because,
everyone else told me it happened.
Yeah, if it happened, then it happened. I genuinely do not think it had anything to do with trying to give MJ a break. And even if it was, Patrick Kennedy needed it more than MJ.
I agree.
So that's why it is so fascinating to me that Iowa fans were choosing to die on that hill, given how gassed PK was. Because I'm like, what are you gaining from this? Even if that is what Dresser did, what are you? It makes no sense to me.
I agree. Kennedy needed it more than MJ did. And I think that's proven in that last ride out where he could not escape, almost gave up back points. MJ, let's talk about MJ. I thought he was going to lose by bonus points. He did not. Jacqueline was spot on with her prediction. And like the way he wrestled that match, we were sitting up there on press row after Vinny Zurban got bonus points. We're like, okay, Iowa State is back positive in bonus points. They just need MJ to not give up bonus points. And so we were joking, like, maybe Dresser goes back there and tells him, hey, eliminate the funk, wrestle normal. 20 seconds into the match, he gets a head and an arm and tries to pin him. It's like, oh my gosh, guy. And then in the first period, he gets, MJ Gaitan gets Patrick Kennedy essentially in a headlock with his legs while Kennedy's on his back to try to get a takedown. He does. He gets a takedown with his legs via exposure. And it's just like, okay, so we know nothing. Dresser did not go back and tell him to eliminate the funk because he is coming with all of the funk. And then you could see, I think it was in the second or third period, whenever MJ got his second takedown, a very similar position, and Patrick Kennedy just bailed out and gave MJ the takedown. He's like, I don't want to expose myself on my back again. I don't want to be in that situation. Here, take the takedown. No, MJ wrestled so well. And it just shows his ceiling. I think 2 years ago, we talked a lot about MJ's ceiling. Like, oh, he's all-American caliber. Not going to say he's going to necessarily compete for a title, but there's that path for it to compete for a national title. And then last year, he didn't show that he progressed that much, right? Like, he had some good wins, but always tended to lose against the really good guys. And this year, he comes out and beats the number 2 guy in the country. And it's like, okay, he's arrived. He's back to the guy. He's back to the standard that we kind of set for him 2 years ago. Like, all right, All-American, probably. And then how far can you take it? I was so impressed with what MJ Gaitan did on Sunday.
Well, it was it was exactly like we talked about, right? It was like he cleaned it up enough to where he did do those things to, expose Patrick Kennedy, get those takedowns. He put in the work until that single half second there at the end where he kind of sealed the deal there, right? And probably like you said, 2 years ago, he maybe wouldn't have been as clean with it. He would have kept trying to do the same thing over and over again and been impatient and then could have risked losing it. And instead he just worked his way there. And it was really cool to see when I saw the clock and I was like, okay, we're halfway through the second. I need to get to the other side. And I just limped my way. I literally ran up the stairs, took photos from up there, and then I sprinted down to the floor. And Andy, if you're listening to this, please don't get mad at me. I went behind the coaches because I wanted to be in a perfect position to get MJ, because I was like, oh, he's going to win and he's going to look right at this corner. And so I actually ended up right behind Aiden Riggins, because if you were paying attention, there were like a little cluster of wrestlers that ended up in that corner. And so I just sat behind them waiting for my moment to stand up. And at one point Aiden looked behind him and he was like, do you want to take my spot? And I was like, no, it's okay. So just because, I don't know. I just felt it. I knew it was coming and I didn't want to miss the chance of getting MJ's face. And like he said in the post-duel press conference, he was just really driven by all the doubt. So again, I feel like this is a good example of what I mean when I say I do my job so emotionally driven, and I study these guys by just getting to know them indirectly, because it's not like I sit around and talk to MJ every day, We only get 2 to 3 minutes with them if and when we do get them, but I feel like I try to pay attention when we're just around them or when they're in duels, and I could just tell that all the doubting that was being placed on him was just going to make him angrier. And so, no, that was a really good match. It was really, really fun. Obviously, Hilton erupted. It was an amazing environment.
That might have been the loudest I've heard Hilton for a dual meet.
No, seriously, I truly wish we had the little
decibel.
Yes, to know,
it
because
felt like a basketball pop, just that pop of Hilton. It's like, oh, we're here. Wrestling's gotten loud before, but it's never had that pop.
No.
Hilton popped like it does for men's basketball, and that was awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really cool to just feel the atmosphere, because, I think I would agree that this might be the most, intense Hilton atmosphere I've experienced for wrestling. And, and I mean, to follow it after Vinny Zerban.
Oh, Vinny Zerban.
I'm so glad you came to the post-duel, because I love that you asked Dresser about the way he is similar to MJ, but very different, right?
Yep. Their funks are different. Both very funky, but their funks are different.
And he just manhandled. I mean, the things he put Jordan Williams through is... I feel bad for Jordan Williams.
He literally got thrown on his head.
Does he have a concussion? Does anyone know?
Is his neck okay?
That drop was insane. He just, all the photos I have of Jordan Williams, he just looks miserable.
Yeah.
And you know what?
He did not have fun in that match.
We were asking ourselves, why is Vinny Zerban ranked so high? And there were people on Twitter asking the same thing. Well, look at this match.
Yep.
Look at this match alone. That was crazy.
Yep.
And again, I love guys that wrestle like that. So add him to the list of guys I'm going to start to look forward to.
Yep. 1,000%.
I loved the funkiness. I loved the rolling around. I never want to see a guy in a position to potentially break their neck. But that was just, again, he really got Hilton amped up for MJ to be out there. And I think it's actually kind of crazy to look back at Anthony's match. And I get why they called it the marquee matchup, right? Number 6 versus number 7. Nasir Bailey has a great reputation leading into the season, but
oops.
Yeah, the marquee matchups were those. Was there other matches that just other than Rocky?
Yep.
that just blew you out of the water? I mean, Evan Frost wrestled a great match.
Evan Frost wrestled really well. I want to talk a little bit about Vinny, just to throw in reverse a little bit.
Yeah.
He reminds me of a little bit better version of Jarrett Dagan.
Okay.
Jarrett Dagan also wanted to get people in on his legs and then to roll around and be funky in that way. And I saw the same thing from Vinny. Had a rubber knee at times. Like, I don't know how your ACL is intact. But he just got that rubber knee, and he's able to do some really funky things. But I think his offensive repertoire is better than Jarrett Dagan's. Like, when Vinny got in on those single legs, I was like, oh, Jarrett Dagan never did that. So a lot of his wrestling reminds me of Jarrett Dagan, for those who have been following Iowa State wrestling for a while. But I think he's a little bit better. And Jarrett Dagan was a 2-time All-American. And Vinny, I'm with you. Vinny Zurban is well worthy of being the number 3 guy in the country right now. I think that's a very fair ranking, and I no longer question it.
No.
That was impressive. So, yeah, Etchemendia, great, truly dominant. Like, a takedown away from a tech fall. Evan Frost, phenomenal win. Gives up the first takedown to Drake Ayala. Drake Ayala's pace is super high, makes you a little bit nervous. Like, oh boy, can Evan, who has been well documented, cutting a lot of weight, keep up this for a full 3 periods? And then you get to the 3rd period, and Evan Frost looks like he did in the 1st period, and Drake Ayala looks quite tired and can't keep up. It's like, oh, no, these Frost twins just have gas tanks to beat the band. So, yeah, Evan Frost, he gets 3 unanswered takedowns in that match, wins 11-5. That's another thing that I wanted to... Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit stats heavy. Everybody,
I was going to ask when you wanted to share those.
Bear with me. I'm so sorry. What I'm going to describe is emblematic of the fact that Iowa State was just the better team, top to bottom. Iowa State had 16 takedowns in the dual meet. Iowa had 9. So Iowa State had 2 takedowns for every 1 Iowa takedown. 6 of those 9 Iowa takedowns came in the Michael Caliendo match. So Iowa had 3 takedowns throughout the rest of the 9 people that wrestled for them. 3. And they were all by different people. So at most, outside of Michael Caliendo, an Iowa wrestler got 1 takedown. At most. That's insane.
Yeah.
The other thing that happened is Iowa wrestlers quit wrestling. At least twice, they were losing and quit. The first is Drake Ayala at 133. Evan Frost should have won that match 8-5. But Drake Ayala quit with 3 seconds left and gave up a takedown. And then you go to 157, Vinny Zurban's match again. He's on the edge of the mat, and Jordan Williams is just standing there. And Vinny's like, oh, I'll get a takedown here. And he did. That should not have been a takedown. And, like, I'm not going to talk about Anthony Etchemendia. He broke Nasir Bailey. That happens in wrestling.
Yeah.
That is what it is. Same thing at 197 with Rocky Elam. Same thing at heavyweight with Younger. And credit to Ben Keeter. Ben Keeter is counter to my point right now. He did continue to wrestle and earn an escape. But there are 2 to 3 matches where Iowa wrestlers just stopped wrestling and gave Iowa State guys free takedowns.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable for A, an Iowa program, and B, a program that's supposed to be a top 5 program. Like, I'm sure the Brands brothers are not happy about that. Like, Drake Ayala should not have given up that takedown. Jordan Williams should not have given up that takedown. But here we are, and it earned Iowa State bonus points. So, yeah, that's one thing. And then if we want to keep going with stats, total match score, Iowa State scored 73 total points. Iowa scored 51. Again, 20 of those 51 points came in Michael Caliendo. That's nearly 40% of their total points came in one match. So if you take that out, it gets even worse. And you can't take it out. Michael Caliendo earned every single one of those. But, man, Iowa State, if you look at the stats, thoroughly dominated Iowa. Team score was a little bit closer. But, boy, these stats are telling.
Well, and, like, Younger's match, just dominant.
Yep.
You look at him, you see the Younger that we have been expecting and waiting for. I think it's crazy anyone walked into this thinking that
It could have been close.
Yes. And then same thing with Rocky.
Yeah.
That
Let's
one
talk
was,
about it.
again, we talked about it last time too. We don't even need to get into it, but it was just very confusing to me, the doubt that people had in Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
And so I loved hearing Drescher share that he watched a football game with him on Thanksgiving, and that Rocky asked him about 3 times during said football game if he was going to end the duel. And so it just explains his excitement. And I think also, again, Rocky's never wrestled in this type of duel environment.
Nope.
It shows in how jacked up he was. And I think the thing too, when you look at this win, and I shared this in the video I took after the duel, this is so much bigger than just beating your in-state rival. This is the best I have felt about the program that Iowa State has for the season.
Agreed.
This is top to bottom. Everybody looks good.
Yep.
They are the level of talent, I think maybe
Yeah.
toughness that these guys have is just very different from other seasons that we've covered.
Yep.
And I feel very good about what we might see the rest of the way. It makes me feel good about when you start to think about March, because we can say it's too early, but it's never really too early, right?
No, especially you get a test like Iowa.
Yes, because again, it could have been anyone. As long as it's a top team, when you're the number 3 ranked team, that's going to be a test. It's going to be, again, a measuring stick, as we love to say.
Yep.
And I feel really good about this team. And I would just love to point out in the NIL era that this is a good example of Iowa spent a lot of money to get guys like Nasir Bailey and Jordan Williams on their roster. And look at that.
Yep.
And Dresser has only continued the same culture that we've seen across all the other programs at Iowa State. They don't have the most money in comparison to other programs that are offering, the number 1 recruit in a certain class $1 million.
Yeah.
But look at what's being accomplished.
And the culture around it too. And we won't hide from it. Iowa State has plenty of transfers as well. One of them being Rocky Elam. But by all accounts, Rocky Elam took a pay cut to come to Iowa State.
Yeah.
So I think that says a lot about, yes, Iowa State is playing the athletes just like everybody else is.
Of course.
And there is something different.
There is.
They're not just paying them willy-nilly, saying, hey, here, come here. They are paying them. They are working out. I mean, Vinny Zerbin, what a get. Steve O'Poulin, I think, will be very good for Iowa State.
I agree.
Rocky Elam has been incredible. Isaac Dean showed me a lot. And I think it's incredible what Iowa State has done. I want to talk about Rocky and his match just a little bit. I realized this when I was watching it, and he reminds me of David Carr, which is a big thing to say, but let me explain myself. He is always in perfect position. He is never out of position. He never puts himself into danger. He has the world's longest arms. David Carr, for 165, got half of his takedowns because his arms were just longer than his opponent expected. Like, his opponents would be defending a single leg, and he'd be like, I'll take that back ankle, thank you. And I saw that exact same thing. In Rocky's second takedown, he was in on Massima's leg, and Massima was in the full splits, could not put his ankle farther away, and Rocky just grabbed it. I was like, those are ridiculously long arms. Has a very similar high crotch to David. And it's just one of those things like, oh, I see a lot of David Carr. Good on top. Better than you expect on top. Great on bottom. So I'm not saying that Rocky will win a national title. He might. He's number 2 guy in the country, and I'm not convinced the number 1 guy is that much better than him.
I don't even know who is number 1.
Josh Barr from Penn State.
Oh, yes.
So, again, good wrestler who's ranked number 1. But there's a lot of David Carr and Rocky Elam.
Very technically sound.
Yeah.
Which is why, again, I was just so confused. And he's confident.
Yep.
He's confident in who he is. And you see it when he talks about why he chose Iowa State and his confidence and the way he was just very comfortable making it clear to Kevin Dresser, like, I will come here. Here's the treatment I need. Here's the way I need to train. And yeah, no, I was very impressed. Not that I wasn't already, but watching him close that duel out, I think was very special for him. I think it was a chance to show the sport what he's going to bring for Iowa State. And I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see how he continues to, I don't know, he might not necessarily see himself, but lead, because he's very much a leader on this team.
I agree.
And I'll say, watching Younger cheer and lose his mind and demand stall calls from the corner was fantastic. If you followed the team in the sport, Rocky and Younger had history as direct opponents, and to see them now like so animated for each other is just such a cool thing to see.
It is.
So yes, that was really cool, and it was really great to see all the way Rocky really just celebrated on the mat and the way everybody rallied around him. It was really, really cool. Something I do want to bring up to what you had said about just like the culture, Isaac Dean, he said during his visits with other programs while, he was being
Courted.
Yep. He said Iowa State was the one and only program who talked about the wrestling. He said nobody else did. He said it was so weird. And I have the soundbite. But he said that Iowa State was the only one who talked about the wrestling and the training and just like put that emphasis on that instead of like all the other perks that come with whatever coaches are selling now with NIL. So
look
again,
at our wrestling room.
Yes, and look at the facilities and look at our football stadiums and stuff. And I know Dresser does that too, right? Like you see those guys come for visits,
for sure.
but Isaac Dean just talked about how a lot of his decision came in feeling just like very much like that gut feeling of I'm going to the school that's focused on my wrestling. So at the end of the day, yes, these guys want money, but you're still wanting to end up on a podium.
Yep.
And
you want team success.
Yes. So yeah, I take a lot of this win also just about Dresser and what he's done for the program. If you're good with it, I would love it if Aiden played this great clip from David Carr, who is now a vlogger.
Yeah, apparently.
He's out there vlogging with his little camera, blocking me half the time. He did a full day vlog of the Cyhawk, and it is so great. He is literally in the locker room. You're watching the guys like eat their pre-duel snacks.
Yeah, Anthony Echemendia eating
the
French toast with like the darkest syrup I've ever seen. What? Before wrestling?
I loved it when David was like, you're going to weigh like 170 some pounds out there. And then like Rocky's laying, the way you see the robes hanging in their locker room. But I had Aiden pull us a clip. So if you guys haven't seen it, go watch the full one. I put it on our front page for David. But he got the video of Coach's speech to the team after they won.
We're not going to have to lift that one up. Hey, how about that? Big wins. You never forget that forever, all right? You guys will never forget what just happened here today. Never. 10 guys went out there and fought. I know a couple guys fell short, but you know what? Dual meets are great because you got 10 guys chipping in, fighting for everything. But man, you know what? We got to enjoy this one. They're going to have something over at Shima next door, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to want to go over there. But man, all I can tell you is there's a lot of effort there, a lot of energy. You know what? And it's something to build on more than anything, right? At the end of the day, we got to get back to work next week like we always do. But you know what? We need to enjoy this one. We need to be smart, but we need to enjoy this one. And you know what? We got to keep flexing our muscles because there's a lot of muscles on this team.
I love Dresser.
Yeah.
It's like moments when he does like the kind of cheesy stuff like that. I remember the little cheesiness to him, but no, he's right. They're going to remember this one because it wasn't, as we said, by chance. It was very much an earned win. So,
and it was because of effort and energy too. Like that's why the takedown discrepancy was as big as it is. And sorry, I'm going to go back to it. Two of the matches Iowa won 149 and 184, they didn't get a takedown in. They didn't get a takedown in either one of those matches. They won because of stall calls and things like that. So, yes, they were the slightly more offensive wrestler. But the effort and energy across the board was on Iowa State's side. Mm-hmm. Because, again, even in matches Iowa won, they didn't get the takedown except for one. Like, what are we? Two, technically. 125 as well. But two of the matches they did not get a takedown in that they won.
And again,
where's the effort and energy? Where's the Iowa style we've been hearing about for the past million decades,
where's the grit?
Yeah. Where's the Dan Gable at? Where's the Dan Gable score me a million points?
I would love to know what Dan Gable's thoughts are.
He was on the mat for Iowa State when they honored all the alumni this past weekend. He was there right next to Gibbons.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't see him.
Yes. Dan Gable's on there
Dang.
on Iowa State's mat being honored. Right
That's
next to
bittersweet.
Jim Gibbons.
I kind of love that. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
It was hard to see them since they were literally in front of me, but that's like a poetic moment.
It is.
To have him be honored at Iowa State, which he deserves it. Not taken away from that, but.
Yeah. And I also, for the Iowa fans who might be listening to this for whatever reason, I understand that he is more associated with Hawkeyes than Cyclones. I get that.
That's the joke, right?
But it is still fun.
It's all right. Well, overall, I think this team's in a really good spot, and I think Iowa has a lot to figure out.
They got some soul searching to do.
Just because I don't know that I look at this as a fluke for them.
It doesn't seem like it. Iowa State has been on the losing side of this for a long time. Mm-hmm. But we've seen this, and the wrestling community as a whole has seen this, and Iowa fans, I know several Iowa fans who've complained about it, that Iowa's just not scoring points like you'd expect them to. Obviously, you got guys like Spencer Lee who do. But across the whole lineup, it's like, yes, they win matches because they recruit at a very high level. But they're not scoring points like you'd expect a dominant team to score points. And I feel like that's finally catching up to them. I still think they're going to be a great team, and they still might get a trophy finish. We'll see. Mm-hmm. But there's, I think, clear separation between Penn State, obviously, Iowa State, and then I think maybe even throwing an Ohio State, Oklahoma State type of team, and then Iowa. I think there's starting to be another stratosphere of separation. Obviously, Penn State's in a league of their own.
Different planet.
But I think Iowa's starting to fall, if not have fallen, from that second tier. And I think Iowa State has firmly planted themselves on that second tier right now.
Well, I'm curious to see how Iowa does in January.
Yep.
Because tournaments, I don't feel will tell us.
No, I mean,
much.
Iowa State's going to the Cliff Keen this weekend, which will be very good.
Yeah,
because
it's a great tournament.
Rocky's going to be at that tournament. How's he last for a whole weekend? What's Vinny Zurban look like for a whole weekend? So, like, it'll be fun and good to follow, but I'm with you. I don't think tournaments will tell us what is happening at Iowa.
Well, and as we start to wrap up, I would just like to call out Iowa for the amount of stall calls.
Oh, boy.
For a team that likes to also pride themselves on being an opponent's hell, for their fans yelling stalling.
Yep.
Y'all stalled your whole way through, except like Michael Caliendo and Dean Peterson.
Yep.
It was just...
And even Dean Peterson got hit for stalling
I was
that
going to
first
say,
period.
I was trying to rack my brain. Did he get hit for stalling?
He did.
Yeah, it was crazy. And shout out to Iowa State fans, because I think there was one moment where Iowa fans tried to get a chant in and they immediately shut them down.
They shut that down, yeah.
It was a really great crowd. And I think C-Dub mentioned this on C-Dub and Bloom, that they were like in Sheeman until the very last second that they could physically be in that building. So I hope Iowa State fans had a lot of beers and enjoyed a fun evening celebrating, because, I mean, they deserved it. And Dresser was very much trying to focus it all on that, right? He was very much trying to say, like, this is for the fans, this is for them. Like, they've been wanting this. And I hope Dresser did give himself time, because I did ask him, and he said he's a really bad celebrator.
Yeah.
But this program would not be where it is if it wasn't for him.
Oh, 1,000%.
So, and he has helped bring these guys in, him and Metcalf and St. John, and Fernando Villascusa has played a big role. And I mean, Perry has been making a lot of impact, I think, with the CRTC.
Yeah.
I don't even know whatever it is, in the last year that he's been around, he's made a big impact. I know he's done a lot for Rocky. So this is all because of Dresser. I wish I had a fun nickname for him, but he is just very talented at rebuilding.
Yep.
So last thoughts on this?
What a win.
You keep going back to that?
Just dominant. What I go back to is the takedown discrepancy, 16 to 9. 2 takedowns for every 1 takedown, essentially. And you take out Michael Caliano, it gets even worse.
Yeah.
For Iowa.
Which is just crazy. I knew a win would come eventually. I guess I didn't think it would be like this.
I thought it'd be not a fluke, but a fluke.
Kind of like the year they almost won at Iowa. What was it, like 15-16?
Yeah, Austin Gomez was an inch away from a pin against Austin DeSanto.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it'd be something like that too, where you get a lucky pin. It's like, oh, they did it. A lucky pin sealed it. No. They just ran through them.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. But you know what? I hope people are excited. I hope casual fans are ready to be more in tune with the team and follow the sport because it's very exciting. Like the wrestling you guys saw, we see very often.
Yep.
It's not just Iowa that's a good team to wrestle. So I promise you there's going to be more good wrestling. I'm curious to see what Oklahoma State brings to the table this season and so on.
You know what happened to Casey Swiderski? Is he still in the lineup?
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is either.
So.
Oops.
A lot of fun wrestling. We have a lot of fun wrestling. So, and this is a very good program. Ranked number 3 today.
Yeah.
Number 3 in the country. So, well, final thoughts before we call her?
That's all of them.
Well, we'll be back. Like we said, Iowa State's competing in the Cliff Keen Invitational in Las Vegas this weekend, and they'll be doing other stuff. And there's tons of fun stuff up on the website. Like I said, I shared David's full vlog. Go check it out. And I shared my photo gallery and all the fun stuff. And shout out to Fareway, of course. We wouldn't be here to talk about wrestling if it wasn't for them. So thanks for listening, guys.